Hi everyone. Today I wanted to go through our tolerance and delay program and kind of what the graphing looks like for that program. Through our membership, we have a lot of different graphs and a lot of different data collection sheets that you can use, but this is kind of the one that we use a lot of the time at our center. So basically, I just want to go through step 3 through 7, and that's more of how we graph those. So with step 3, the student is going to tolerate no, and you're going to teach the student to say okay and engage in one response or wait 10 seconds. But with this one, the student still gets his or her way 40% of the time after he asks without anyone saying no. So all the time, the child is going to get their whatever they want while asking appropriately 40% of the time. So that 40%, when you're graphing it, you're going to want to put a box around whatever trials are those 40% that he's getting whatever he wants when he asks politely. Okay? You do this because you're only taking data on the other 10 trials. So you want to collect data on whether or not they concede immediately without any negative behavior when you say no, and then they have to engage in one response, and then they're followed up by whatever they want. So say we're going to graph this. The student is definitely conceding and without any negative behavior every time, so they're ready to move on to the next step. The next step, you're just going to increase the responses or the wait time. So again, you're going to put the 4 trials, whichever ones you decide, that the child should just get what they want whenever they asked. It doesn't have to be any specific trials. It could be any one. And the best way to do this program, I've noticed, is just throughout the entire session. It's better to do this throughout the entire session than in 14 mass trials, because then the student kind of knows what's going on. It's better to work it throughout the session so you can kind of see how they're doing and whether or not they're actually tolerating the word no. So this is how you would graph it with 14 trials. Sometimes we graph it with only 10 trials. So it's kind of the same thing if we're graphing with 10 trials. Again, still 40% of the time, the child is getting whatever they want when they ask politely. So again, you're going to put boxes around whatever trials that they're going to get what they want without a no. Say it's these trials. And then again, instead of 14, we're doing 10. So instead of graphing it out of 10, you're just going to graph it out of 6. Because there's only 6 trials where you're saying no, and the student will have to engage in 1, 3, 5, or an entire program before getting what they receive or asking for. Eventually, we move on to the last step where the student does not get their way at all. So again, 40% of the time, they're getting what they want without asking. But this is the last step when finally we're saying no on these trials. And if they concede immediately without any negative behavior, that's great, but they're not going to get their way at all. This is the Tolerance Delay program. Let me know if you have any questions.